Good evening and welcome once again to the investigation into the murder of Mr. George Bellows. We have heard from Miss Carol Pinter and Mrs. Juliet Corby, and we will shortly hear from the last of our three suspects. So please make sure you have a sharp pencil for your notebook as we now hear the video statement of Mrs. Sadie Peters.
Hello, yes. My name is Sadie Peters, and I live at number 4 Spring Place, next door to George Bellows. Well, I must say, this is a turn up for the books, isn't it? I mean, on top of a pandemic and lockdown, our very own murder. Well, suspicious death. But that's what they mean, isn't it? It's what they always say on Vera. But I must say, I just can't understand why anyone would want to hurt him. He was a dear man, really. I mean, it had his faults, of course. Well, we all do, don't we? And in the end, who are we to judge? A dear man, really, at heart. Unfortunately, I didn't see a thing. I was out a good bit that day doing some shopping and prescription deliveries. Well, you have to do your bit, don't you, if you can. I'd spoken to Juliet in the morning, got a shopping list. They don't go out at all, you see. And then I popped their shopping on the doorstep for her when I got back. So no, didn't see anything unusual. Very frustrating. I did do a bit of baking for Mr. Bellows. I took it round usually, but of late, I just left it on the front doorstep while he was out on one of his many outings. He was out a good deal. Not one for following rules, wasn't George? A bit of a free spirit, you might say. Oh, not that I minded too much. Live and let live. But he had poor Juliet over the road terrified he'd infect her Charlie. But I must say, he was rather naughty, especially in the shop. My son works there, you see, and he had to have very stern words with him about social distancing. And then, because of that, George had the nerve to try and get my Nigel the sack. Made up all sorts of stories about him, if you please. I mean, really, he could be a bit naughty. As if they'd sack my Nigel. He practically runs the place. I must say, he was not at all happy with Carol on the other side of him. Well, have you seen the state of her garden? Terrible, full of weeds. And he looks bad, doesn't it? Lowers the tone. Not to mention them seeding into his immaculate front garden. It is very beautiful. You could not fault him on that. I mean, those front borders, I can see them from my front windows. I mean, you must have noticed as you walked back up the path to the gate. Fabulous. So full, they've almost buried Fred the gnome completely. Even Juliet commented on that. So you can see why he was so cross with Carol. I know he'd reported her to the council. And he was having a word with her landlord, trying to get her evicted. She only rents, you see. I don't suppose she will have mentioned that. Carol was trying to butter him up by making him flapjack. I said to her, that won't work, he's very fussy. Only Juliet's flapjack will do for George. But I must say, I just don't understand who would want to hurt him. He was a dear man, really, at heart.
Well, how are those motives and clues stacking up now that you have heard from all three of our suspects? Perhaps you need to listen to some of the statements again? I look forward to seeing you once more tomorrow evening for the conclusion of our murder mystery, to see the killer of Mr. Bellows revealed and to see if you found the motive and clues which led to the killer. We ask that if you watch and enjoy this experience, that you please follow the charity page linked to this and give what you can.